to use them as firelighters. They're rather good at that. Look at that. Splendid.
Minister, what about these alternative energy sources?
Well, there are considerable drawbacks. Windmills, for instance, are obviously both smelly and dangerous.
More dangerous than nuclear power stations?
Well, I mean, these windmills are never going to work anyway. I mean, it simply isn't practical to harness the wind.
If we harnessed your wind, we could power a factory for a fortnight.
Well, I'm sure you'll agree that during the course of this programme, KYTV has helped solve many of the problems of the environment. And so we've compiled this specially devised Green Master Quiz, kindly sponsored by Exxon, the company that cares. And that's certainly the sort of money, the sort of attitude that we appreciate here at KYTV. So let's get on with the quiz and let's meet our two contestants who are...
Gillian.
From...
Dartmouth.
And...
David.
From...
Bristol.
Great, so there you are. The prize still unwon after 17 weeks, this lovely chateau in the Loire. So, one correct answer and the chateau is yours. OK, you ready? Lots to play for. OK, here we go. Question 1. Which is the poorest third world country, Vietnam or Thailand?
Vietnam.
No, neither. Burma is in fact poorer than both of them. In which Mediterranean country have 20,000 square miles of rainforest been destroyed?
Brazil.
Yes, but unfortunately Brazil isn't a Mediterranean country. Question 3 is a trick question. True or false?
True.
No, false. It's a perfectly ordinary question, in fact. Question 4. Which magazine gives you a monthly update on green issues?
Friends of the Earth Weekly.
No, the answer is false. Which magazine is a consumer magazine comparing different brands of the same product, in fact. What does a car need to have fitted to enable it to use unleaded petrol?
A catalytic converter.
No, a petrol tank was the answer I was looking for. What is orgasmic farming?
No
idea.
No, it is in fact a misreading of the word organic. What sort of root vegetable...
What sort of root vegetable what?
Not allowed to help you on this one, I'm afraid. No, turnip was the one I was looking for.
No, how was I supposed to know that?
Well, I'm afraid I can't help you. I told you that before. Question 8. Ready?
Yes.
Yes.
No, ready is the answer to question 9. And question 10. When was the first Green Party MP elected to the European Parliament?
I don't know, 1974.
More precisely?
Oh, August?
More precisely?
The 14th.
More precisely?
10:30.
More precisely?
10:30 and 35 seconds.
I just can't give it to you, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, when was it?
June 1986. So there we go, that's the end of the quiz. I'm afraid you haven't won, but never mind, David, you win this lovely KYTV mug tree. And Gillian, you don't get to go away empty-handed either.
Oh.
No, because we'd like to take your desk and chair with you when you go.
Green show, all you need to know, meow.
Sir Anthony, is our food pumped full of additives?
Well, there's a lot of half-knowledge about food these days. I mean, take E numbers, for instance. Now, I may not be an expert, but one thing I do know is that E is not a number.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Well, perhaps I could ask you about the health warning you put out on KYTV earlier this year.
Pregnant women should avoid eating...
This surely was a potentially disastrous piece of advice.
I don't think that was the whole sentence. I went on to say pregnant women should avoid eating certain types of food.
But a pregnant woman could quite easily be listening to the news in the safety of her home, be struck by a power cut in the middle of your warning, and never eat again. Are you prepared to accept that much blood on your hands?
Well, I'm sorry, but if people only listen to half...
Can I ask, do you watch what you eat?
Oh, yes, of course.
Why is that?
Well, I find it easier to get into my mouth that way.
Excuse me, sir, can I have a brief word?
Yes, sink.
Excuse me, madam, we're asking people if they're careful about what they eat. I was wondering if you knew, for example, what was actually in this harvest pie of yours.
Sugar, saturated fat, additives, monosodium glutamate, colourings, gristle, and mechanically recovered meat, which basically means the scrapings from animals' bottoms.
Thank you.
Battery hens, horse-fed geese, harpooned whales, dead seals, fleece, rabbits with blusher and eyeshadow. We show them all on our green show.
Stop it. So, to wrap up then, what exactly are we talking about?
We're talking about the melting of the ice caps, flood, famine, and the end of all human life on Earth.
Yes, I wonder if I could broaden the issue out a bit from that. David?
Thank you, Mike. Coventry 3-0 up at half-time. All those goals come in the first half, incidentally.
Well, yes, perhaps we could broaden it out a bit more from that. And you'd like to tell us a bit about endangered animals, I believe.
Yes, Mike. Well, the rhino, of course, is hunted for his horn, which is widely regarded as an aphrodisiac.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't see how a man could stimulate me with a rhino horn. I can see how it might replace him.
I have here another wild and very rare creature which is currently facing extinction, the small wild marmot pig. Perhaps you'd like to hold him?
Well, nothing would give me greater pleasure apart from being poked in the eye with an electric cattle prod.
It's amazing to think that this beautiful creature is currently facing extinction.
Well, I'm not surprised. He's extremely smelly.
Now, the important thing to remember about the wild marmot pig is to pick him up around the waist and not by the tail.
So the wild marmot pig is dying out as we speak.
Yes, quite literally.
Well, tragic. Well, if I put the marmot pig to one side for a minute and his tail to the other, do you have any other endangered species with you?
Yes, I have a very rare breed of sheep which is over on the other side of the studio.
No, he won't talk to me, Anna. He's not very clever, is he?
Sounds like the perfect definition of intelligence to me. Well, David, we're very short of time now, but I wonder if you could answer one quick question on the care of animals that one of our viewers has sent in.
Certainly.
Right. Well, she has an old English sheepdog, and ever since her father brought him 2 years ago, he's been smelling other dogs' private parts and making a nuisance of himself.
Well, this is perfectly normal behaviour, honestly. How old is he?
He is 65, retired last year.
Oh, I see. You're talking about her father.
Yes.
Oh, I see. And what did he do?
He was a Conservative Member of Parliament, apparently.
Well, as I say, this is perfectly normal behaviour.
Well, that just about wraps up our Green show. Don't forget, if you want to be part of our Save a Tree in 1990 campaign, we brought out this 500-page book, How to Save Trees. It's printed on the finest paper, bound in genuine leather, and each copy comes in its own mahogany presentation case.